talk about JPEG and RAW photos and how you store them on your camera. This is a conversation you'll hear with a lot of photographers, and you'll hear a lot of opinions. So let me share with you the road I had and where I am today. When I first started with digital photography, it was a point and shoot because that was about all I could afford. There was not an option for RAW, so I shot in JPEG, obviously. So let's talk about the difference between JPEG and RAW. RAW is raw data. It is all the data the camera captured, everything. JPEG is a compressed version of that raw image. I enjoy the conversation with folks that says, I don't ever edit my photos in post. I want the pure image of what I took. Well, then you should be using RAW. Because if you're shooting JPEG, the camera has done some modifications and enhancements to make the colors look better for you. You've already edited it before you took the memory card out of your camera. So back to the JPEG discussion and RAW discussion. So like I said, I started in JPEG. And then even when I got a camera that could shoot in RAW, I stayed in JPEG. Hindsight, I wish I switched to RAW. So there's a little hint. You're going to want to go to RAW eventually. So a couple of issues you got to deal with RAW. RAW is very large and you need editing software, something like Photoshop, GIMP, or if you look at your camera that you purchased, there's likely a CD. If you don't have the CD because they don't ship those anymore, there's software to download from the manufacturer that will allow you to edit your RAW photos. But you have to edit your photos. It takes some time. JPEG, on the other hand, is very fast. You copy them out of your camera, off your memory card, you place them on your social media, you take them to your local print shop and you print them and you're happy. So very quick, very fast. The differences between those, that in a standpoint of what is the benefit of shooting one over the other, is a RAW, I can modify it a lot better than I can with a JPEG. Remember I said a JPEG is a compressed version of the RAW. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about JPEG and RAW, mostly JPEG. So grab your camera, and I'll grab mine as well. And when you look at the back of the camera, there is JPEGs, but there's a lot of settings for JPEGs. You have S and L, and you have multiple S's, and you have S's with jagged edges and a curved line that's not jagged, and you have large, which is the L with jagged edges and not jagged. What does that all mean? So I'll explain that. Grab your camera, and let's look at the image qualities.
So you've got your memory card, put in your camera, ready to go. Yep, hold on, let's do a couple things. We're gonna format the card and we're gonna set the image quality. But before you format it, make sure you copied off any images that you have taken previously to your computer, backed them up from your computer to an external hard drive, and hopefully you have a cloud solution like Backblaze. I use Backblaze, you'll see a link down below. If you're liking these videos, make sure you hit the subscribe and like. So let's look at the back of my camera and hopefully grab your camera as well. So open your menu and find Format Card. And when you press it, realize when you format the card, you're going to lose all your data. If you have photos on your card, make sure you have backed it up to your laptop or computer, and then also backed it up to an external drive so that you have an extra copy of it. So when you format your card, when you click OK, it's going to warn you all data will be lost. Move it to OK because it defaults to cancel, and click OK. It won't take long. It will format your card. I recommend formatting with your camera, not your computer. So that didn't take very long at all. And I typically format my card once it starts to get full. If I'm going to go on a brand new shoot, I'm going to take a lot of photos, I will format it before I start. But when I'm going out and doing some bird photography or just some photo shoots, a lot of photos fit on the card. So I'll typically leave them around until I really need to format it. It's up to you on how you do that. So let's look at image quality next. Again, let's look at the back of my camera. All right, you can see the back of my camera again, and you can see that I am set to RAW for image quality. Default is JPEG. I prefer RAW, but let's look at the options here. What's interesting on my camera, I can write both RAW and JPEG at the same time. So right now, what I will do is I'll shut off the RAW. If I come down to the JPEG side, I can shoot no JPEG or nothing, which I need to shoot something. But let's look at the different sizes for a JPEG. And you'll notice up at the top, you can see an L with a curve, which is fine. That means a large, fine photo. It's 30 megapixels with the dimensions in pixels of 6720 by 4480. If you do the math with a calculator, you'll find that's close to 30 million pixels with the number of images available to be stored on this card, which is 4,034 approximately. That could change. If I go to the next setting, you'll notice the number of photos nearly doubles, but the dimensions and the megapixels stay the same. There's just a little bit of compression. Well, actually a lot. We doubled the number of photos. So if we go to the large with the jagged, which is not the fine, which has more compression, to medium, you'll notice that the number of photos doesn't change a whole lot. The megapixels went way down from 30 all the way down to 13 megapixels. So the next medium stays at 13 meg, same dimensions, and the number of photos rockets way up to 9,999. That doesn't mean that's all you get. Unfortunately, that's just the number of digits that displays on the back of this camera, 4 digits. So it's going to be more than 9,999, which means as we go down the row here from S1 to S1 to S2 and S3, that 9999 is not going to change, but the number is going up. So we go from medium to S1, you'll notice the megapixels went from 13 down to 7.5, so almost half the size, and the dimensions went down. If I go to S1, the size stays the same, dimension just a little more compression. S2, much smaller size, much smaller dimensions, go down to S3, extremely small dimensions and only 0.3 megapixels. Very, very small, very low quality, not something you want to use. So if you're going to shoot in JPEG and not RAW, make sure you choose the largest setting. If you want to use the photos for any type of printing or any type of sharing, you can always reduce it with photo editing later if you like. The only time I use settings down here is when I'm doing my time lapses that you may see, and I'll put a link so you can find one of my time lapses. Last week I had a video on which SD card to buy and which one to purchase. This week is what do you do with the SD card once you purchased it. I want you to format it. I want you to choose the image size. Typically, once you set the image size, you'll probably forget about it and it will stay there. So if you start playing with the image sizes, make sure you reset it back to the default of the large JPEG, or if you want to shoot in RAW like I do, make sure you reset it back to large or to RAW. And that's what I need to do right after this video. So with that, we'll go fix my camera.
So if you want to shoot in JPEG, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. There's no right answer here. But if you want to get deeper into photography, editing your photos afterwards, then make the journey, make the leap, start shooting in RAW, and learn how to do that.
This has been Doug Gabbard at Practicing Photography. Hopefully you learned a lot. Hit the subscribe and like button for more videos. And over the right, there are 2 videos for you to watch if you missed them. The first one's how to take a photo. The second one is how to choose the right SD card for your camera. So get out there and take pictures and get better one photo at a time.